on it. Let's begin with one of the missions that we talked about yesterday, and I went back on my save files, did a ton of testing also to some of you guys' suggestions, and I finally came out with the route that ensures you get both the vehicles at the very same time. So this includes both the Beast 4x4 from Claire as well as Samson's modified Quadra that looks something like this. So basically there's gonna be some spoilers over here, but it's a side job so it shouldn't be that important. But here is what you need to know. The final outcome of this mission will be influenced as early as the second last race before you finish this. So basically in the second last race you're going to eventually get to stay with Claire on this side right here just outside of the city. You're gonna have a dialogue with her, and what you need to do is just follow the dialogue normally up until the very last one. So this dialogue right here is going to be the one that determines what type of outcome you can get in the final mission right after this one. So what I suggest is to not agree with killing that character and instead pick the option that says sorry but I cannot help, and just tell her that you're in it to win the race. Now I'm not sure if the next part is also important, but after waiting for a day she sends you a message to which I replied, just remember what you promised. So the last option over there at the bottom, just in case this might also be important. Now from this point on you will start the last mission in the sequence and you will follow it as usual, maybe trying to calm down when the dialogue prompts let you in her conversations with Samson, both in the beginning of the race and at the end of it. And during the race of course you will follow Samson as usual, even following outside of the race after the 25th mark up until he crashes his car on this side of the road. From here on it plays pretty similar, so you're going to want to pick the options that lets you hear his side of the story. You're going to always try to interrupt Claire up until this moment where you have the option to either let her do what she wants or tell her to let him go. So you will need to pick the option to let him go, and surprisingly because of your option in the previous mission she will now comply and she will say I can't believe how lucky you are, or somewhere along those lines. So from this point on you will want to again follow it as usual, follow Claire in her car, and at the end of the ride she is going to give you the Beast and now you have it in your inventory. But because you spared Samson, he's also alive and he is also going to give you his ride as well. But for that you need to wait about at least a week of in-game wait time, so what I suggest is to go ahead and just spam the skip time by 24 hours up until you see a message from him. Once you receive the message you can freely reply to it, and from this point on the ownership of the car is transferred over to you and you can immediately summon the car without having to go anywhere. And congratulations, you just got a really awesome modified Quadra. It has about 666 horsepower, which kind of makes sense because it is a Tulu kind of like reference. It also looks amazing, by the way, full on black matte, one of the best looking Quadras in the game, and you just got it. It's definitely my personal favorite, but we will talk about an even cooler next one. We have another free ride that you can find at random in the middle of the desert. This is going to be the Colby CX410 Beauty, or Butte, I'm not really sure how you even pronounce that, but basically it looks like this. It's one of the cleanest pickups you can get in the game, and you will find it not far away from the supercar we talked about at the end of yesterday's video. So basically in the Badlands region you're going to see that there's this small trailer park on this side of the map. It's kind of inconspicuous, but once you reach over there you will see that there's a bunch of trailers and of course a bunch of vehicles with a ton of dead bodies around. But guess what? Right there in the background the Colby awaits you and you can freely claim it without having to fight anyone. And by the way it has about 225 horsepower. It is definitely not the most powerful vehicle in the game, but it gets its job done, even more so since it seems to be on a little bit on the lighter side. It's not over 4 tons like most of the vehicles out there, but it can still manage quite nicely. Something that you get from one of the Beat the Brat side jobs in the Glen, basically this one right here, where you have to fight this character that is in front of the Alvarez car itself. Now what you need to know about this is that you don't need to finish the entire chain to get this. As a matter of fact, as soon as you walk up to this character and provoke him to a fight, he is gonna tell you that he is putting his car on the line and you should match with about 4,000 eddies. So go ahead and do that. Now do keep in mind that this fight can be a bit tough. He is definitely on the stronger side, so what I recommend is to either turn down the difficulty or at the very least make sure that you have some really nice cyberware installed. Maybe even some gorilla arms, since those are amazing at dealing higher damage. Now once you have finished the fight, well, your car is pretty much yours if you choose to do so, because you have multiple dialogue options. Now personally, I went with the dialogue option that gave me both the money and the car itself, even though that is kind of like a dick move against the character and what he's going through. So your choice is yours. But I got the car, it's really freaking amazing. This car is a freaking train. It's likely going to be hard to navigate through tough spaces and corners, but do you really need that when you're driving a literal brick of gold? Because honestly, I don't really care. Like, this is one of the most spectacular cars in the game, really awesome graffiti on it, and also really awesome shiny gold plated kind of look to it that basically going to be during the side gig called Life's Work. You can basically find the gig on this side of the map, on the right side of the bridge that leads from the glen into the coast view area. So it's going to be in this auto shop that is called Wicked Tires. Once you reach here, you're gonna see that there's a bunch of enemies. What I recommend doing is to take down every single enemy in the area, because this is going to be important for the next part of the mission. Once you've done that, complete the main objective, like going in upstairs and installing the virus on one of the main computer terminals. And once you're done with that, go back at the bottom, steal the vehicle, and bring it back to the garage that the mission prompts you to go to. Now once you're done with that, this pretty much ends the mission, but your objective is not yet over, because if you wait another 24 hours, you're gonna get a call from the same NPC, and he is going to tell you that now there is a free Quadra you can go ahead and pick up from one of the garages on the other side of the map. So go over there, and once you're there, you're going to notice that one of them is opened and the Quadra Turbo R is inside of it, looking almost exactly as the one from the trailers. I'm pretty sure that it's a one-on-one recreation, and this should also be the same one that you can find in Forza 4, by the way, assuming of course that you also played that game. So yeah, the car